All right, here we go. So, welcome to This Week in Pop Culture, the show in which we bring you up to speed on the past said week in the world of pop culture, whether we're talking about film and TV, sports news, theater news, tech news, local news, and the like. We try to bring you up to speed so that way you are not left in the wind. I'm your host, Brandon Choi, co creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And of course, I'm, as always, not going to be alone in talking about this week's said topic. So, without further ado, I want to welcome my co-host, Mr. Spielman Trueheart, aka Spills. What is going on, sir?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday, Sunday. It's Sunday. I don't even
Oh
know what
wow.
day it is. It's so late in the day. Normally we're noon, but my dad
Yes.
brain has fried by now, ladies and
Threw them
gentlemen.
off. We threw them off, folks. We threw
You
them
you
off.
you've completely. I don't know where I am. But as always, I'm happy to link up with you, Brandon, and let's get to it.
All right, for sure, for sure. So, there were a lot of things that went down this past week. I do want to give, just a quick uh, note that last week we were planning on doing a recap of San Diego Comic Con, but for unforeseen reasons with tech issues and things like that, and everything else that was going on, we I made the executive decision of just doing a bye week that week. But I will try to make it a point to discuss, in other videos, some of the things that went down, and I'll probably even share it in some of the other content that we have on the way because it is related. But this past week, Spills, we had a jam-packed week. We're of course going to talk about what we had, what you got see there in the background, regarding what is it, a horror franchise that is getting a new breath of life, so to speak, as a TV series. So we will be sure to talk about that at the tail end of our show as our main topic. But we had other things that went down as well, whether we're talking about sports, local news, trailers, and the like. So without further ado, shall we dive in?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, let's get it. So I'll start first before we get into our first story, just to share with you guys, just as a reminder. We appreciate you guys, those of you that do enjoy our show live. But I will also share with you as well that I will once the show has finished wrapping its live taping, I should say. We will be doing some timestamps of some of the stories that we will be discussing in today's show, so you will have an opportunity to skip forward or backward, however order you want to do the stories that we talk about this said week. So you will have the luxury of doing that once the show finishes airing live. So with that out of the way, I want to get into our first story, and unfortunately, starts off on a slightly somber note, as we did have a passing this week for our first story. So let me bring that up now for you all. And this actually happened this past Tuesday. It was with actor Alon Abouboul, who passed Tuesday morning after collapsing on Habanim Beach near Tel Aviv, according to the Hollywood Reporter, per the actor's manager. Having countless credits across TV as well as film, Alon was one of Israel's biggest stars, being a mainstay even here in the States with the series FX's Snowfall, as well as having memorable roles in films such as Rambo 3, The Dark Knight Rises, as well as London Has Fallen. Abouboul is survived by his wife and 4 children. He was 60. So Spillman, your thoughts on the actor's passing, and perhaps among his filmography, what would you say is what you'll probably most remember him for, or what would be your favorite?
Well, as followers of the show know, I am a certified gangster. I'm a thug through and through. So
Oh
of
my
course, my favorite, my, the streets are tuned to me on this podcast because they know I'm from the streets, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
But
my gosh.
obviously,
Okay.
his favorite of my favorite of his castings was obviously in Snowfall. He was diabolical in that show, and he was a real one. He never sold Franklin Saint no game. He didn't like snitch on nobody or nothing. He was always thorough all the way through that show. So To me, he was a stand-up actor. I've seen some of his other works, but to me, he's always going to be the guy from Snowfall that got Franklin Saint started. Um, just a great actor. I think that he really brought realism to that show and really explained like he could how he could be a how somebody who was a high school senior could end up in the drug game, obviously because the kingpin took a shine to you, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to just make that jump. So to me, I think that was a very good writing style, and his characterization was very good. And it wasn't, because usually when you have those shows, it's always like a guy from Colombia or something. He was an Israeli guy who was like, "Hey, we doing our thing. This is where we doing our thing." It seemed like he could be moving in the Hollywood Hills and not be that noticeable. Whereas a guy who was like a big time like Colombian kingpin, it might seem a little bit more like, "Hey, what is this guy doing in this neighborhood? He doesn't seem to match." So that made sense.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I guess I do remember him from the series Snowfall, but I would just say just the fact that he was very much a chameleon in terms of the roles that he had taken on. I mean, he's played bad guys, he's played good guys, like and he's been able to, even in the instances where he's played villains, there has been a different element to a lot of those various villains that he's had an opportunity to play. So he, as I said, will be missed. I enjoyed, you have those character actors where whenever you see them, it's always a treat to be able to see what role whatever project they pop up in. And he was one of those actors for me where, whenever I saw him, I was like, oh, cool. Like I love, I love this actor. So again, condolences to his family and friends. It's unfortunate, the circumstances surrounding uh, uh, his passing, where just enjoying time at the beach, and you have something unfortunate like that happen. So again, condolences to his family and friends, and uh, you know. Just hope for those of you out there, let us know in the comments, is there a role that you guys most will remember Alon for? I'm assuming I'm going to get a lot of folks that say Snowfall, but maybe I'll have some other folks out there that may surprise me with some other roles that were a part of his filmography. So that's going to do it for what we have with our segment known as Legacies Remembered. And again, condolences um, to Alon Abouboul passing away at 60. So we're going to switch gears over to our trailers, because there were quite a few trailers that we got in this past said week. So give me one moment. I'm gonna bring this up for you all. We had one. Let's see if I can get it up here. We had Eyes of Wakanda that had its trailer dropped this week. The GOAT movie trailer, as well as a quick tease, and I do mean a super quick tease of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So just to dive in first to, let me see if I can bring this up. Diving first into what we have with Eyes of Wakanda. Let's see if I can get this up, folks. Here we go. So yes, starting first with Eyes of Wakanda, trailer dropped on Monday for the Disney Plus series. Of course, highlighting some of the history of the technologically advanced African nation. The series acts as a prequel to the events of the live-action MCU film franchise, and is actually was released in its entirety this past Friday. I haven't had an opportunity to see. I'm assuming you haven't either, Spills, but I do want to dive into talking about that because I do find that fascinating that we had the trailer for that on Monday and then having its release right on Friday. But on Wednesday, Sony Pictures, let me see if I can get this up for you all. So yes, on Wednesday, Sony Pictures, along with an intro from Steph Curry, who we talk about a lot on this show,
Oh, do
released the
we?
trailer. Yes, we do. Released the trailer for their animated film Goat, which follows a determined, undersized goat who defies expectations by joining an elite team in Roarball, a dangerous sport where animals compete on hazardous, ever-changing courts. With his diverse teammates, he must prove he belongs in a fierce league. Again, from the studio that brought Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse, which I mentioned before with Sony Pictures, as well as producer Steph Curry. GOAT is set to arrive in theaters in February of 2026. Last but not least, let me get this one up because we're going to be talking about it some more a little later in our show. We have Spider-Man Brand New Day, aka Spider-Man 4, which provided a tease of the next franchise um, by teasing fans with a peek at the character's new costume. Picking up from where No Way Home left off, the film, which promises a number of adversaries as well as a number of allies for Spidey to contend with, is scheduled to swing into theaters on July 31st, 2026. So, Spills, your thoughts on these trailers that were dropped this week?
I guess we're gonna just go left to right on these.
Okay.
The Eyes of Wakanda was interesting. They did a trailer and then launched the show the same week. That's interesting.
Yes.
I did notice it on my going back to my dad bag. I look at Disney Plus almost daily, ladies and gentlemen. That might be one of my most valued purchases I make every month because my son needs to have his Spider-Man fix and maybe Iron Man and other kind of stuff. So that was interesting to see. I think we may check it out depending on like the maturity level of what the content is, because
Sure, sure.
we still got a school age Mr. Baby here, so we still want to make sure of that. But it looks interesting. I'm still interested in what they're going to do broadly with the cinematic universe with the Black Panther.
Of course.
um, I've heard they've knocked around. Speaking of Snowfall, they said Demon Idris. They said Damon Idris, Desmond Damon. I don't know how to say his name, but that guy. They said that the guy from Snowfall may reprise the Black Panther. So we'll see. Um, it's good to see that they haven't given up on it, and that they're still going forward. So I will check it out. We'll check back in with you at a later date, and I'll let you know how I feel about that
Okay,
property.
sounds good. Sounds good. I guess for me, in talking about Eyes of Wakanda, it is just fascinating because um, a lot of times when you have a film that is uh, released so shortly after the promotional window that you have for it is not always a good sign. A lot of times, something is teased months and months ahead of time. And in very rare cases, sometimes it's even teased a whole year in advance. I find that a little ridiculous, but at least 3 to 6 months, it's not unheard of to have a teaser or a trailer for a given project, even if it's um, for streaming, these days. And even more curious is the fact that a lot of times when we're talking about streaming shows, even though back when this platform of streamers were kind of in its infancy, we saw a lot of those shows being released as a bundle and released all at once, where there was an opportunity to binge it. But these days, that trend has kind of gone away, where even though the streamer may have the entire show, obviously they're not releasing it uh they're no longer releasing them all at once anymore. Like these days, you're getting kind of that weekly release rollout that you would have with a regular sitcom. And I believe the reason obviously would be to kind of stretch the amount of interest in that show by doing that. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna give it a shot when I check it out, but I'm just curious on how the show's gonna be. That they're not releasing it a week at a time, and I know it's just 4 episodes, but even when we're talking about recently with what is it, Ironheart, they didn't release all of that all at once, even though they had bunches of episodes in which they released. They did it into separate sections. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. But what about Goat? I'll punt it over to you because you know what I'm gonna say about Goat. But go ahead.
I feel like it's totally unbelievable that an undersized person will ever make it in a game like Rough Ball or whatever they're talking about. That's a game for giants, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not a giant, you're not going to be good at it. I just want you to know that giants rule this stuff. That's why they went over to France and they got Wimby and all that other kind of stuff. A goat playing basketball, he don't even have thumbs, ladies and gentlemen. That's totally unbelievable. I don't believe that this is what we put on. He's got he's got a nice haircut though. I do like his hair. His hair is nice. I do like how this goat looks with his hair. I take it back, ladies and gentlemen. I take it back. The kids got game. That's a great goat pun. Who doesn't love great goat puns? But I can't get on board with anything Steph Curry because of my stances on life. But this seems like it's fine.
Wow,
I'm sure
stances on life.
that's right.
That's tough. That's
That's right.
tough.
I think that the
That's
the the
tough.
small ball 3-and-D kind of thing has ruined basketball, and I can't wait for it to get back to a big man game. It's going to have to eventually. But this seems fine. I imagine I will spend money to go see this movie.
I would imagine
Um,
so. I mean, you're in the demo, sir. You're in the
yeah, they
demo.
get my money. I always tell my sister that too. I always tell her, I'm like, hey, I don't want to add any more franchises to my life because I don't want to pay for no more new franchises. I got franchises I'm paying for. I can't introduce some new stuff. He bought a T-Man toy this weekend. Now I've got to find episodes of He-Man. So you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. This is life lessons. I'm giving lessons to Brandon here on this podcast.
You getting sucked
We
into
are
that
doing a show for
merchandise life.
y'all. That's
That
right. We get sucked
merchandise
in.
life.
That's right. That's right. Got to get backpacks and pencil toppers and all
Lunch
kinds of stuff.
boxes,
Yeah, all that stuff.
all of it.
Yeah,
But
but this looks
but
cool.
yeah. No. So I'll say this: it's cool that we have Steph Curry branching out outside of basketball, obviously, and doing other things in the movie space as a producer. Um, I'm sure it's not a mistake that the film is called Goat. I'm sure it's not a mistake that probably and I have no way to assess this based on what we have in the trailer, but maybe we'll get a indication of it when the film comes out. When we see it, is that a lot of that play style will be very much like the producer of this
Oh
film,
yeah, no, no, no. I can bet
the
you a hundred
greatest shooter of
dollars.
all
Bet me a
time.
$100 that it's gonna be like that.
I'm about to say the greatest shooter of all time, and also the kryptonite of Mr. LeBron James, the perceived goat of spills. So,
I don't
um,
I don't understand how he's the kryptonite. That's not kryptonite. I ain't never seen kryptonite be up 3-1 and then lose. Kryptonite always wins. They got to
good
take that.
afternoon, Sylvia. Hello.
Yeah,
But yes,
that's
that is
just crazy,
hilarious.
ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear that? You hear that? I guess if he's a goat, LeBron must be a wolf, ladies and gentlemen. Or I mean, he's a lion because he's the king. So I just can't believe this. See, this is why I was not trying to say I like this movie. See this? This is why I got sucked in by the hair, ladies and gentlemen. That goat had a great head of hair.
You
I
can't help it though.
apologize.
You gonna end up seeing it anyway, bro. You're
I
gonna
am.
end up because you're in the demo. You can't help it. You're gonna see it
Yeah,
anyway. Whether you're gonna hate watch it. You're gonna end up
that's
hate.
right. I'm gonna be like, that ain't how the game is played. Get in that paint.
But getting into the last one, and we probably don't. We'll probably dive deeper into this later because there are some other stories that are connected with this. But your thoughts on what we had with what is it? Brand New Day, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. That we're in this day
Um,
and age with an 8-second trailer. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. But
I don't think it's. I feel like that's more of a trailer than that. That's what it should be. It should just be a huh. We're gonna show it to you, get you excited, and then we back out of there. I think we know because, this is the fourth Spider-Man movie. Don't show too much of it because then people won't go see it. Show a little bit, then let them come in. I feel like that's very smart. because again, it's been almost 4 years since the last one came out. Tom Holland is a whole different dude. He's much older. I don't know. I feel like this is closest that we're going to get to the real Spider-Man from the comic books. Um, I imagine that they're going to try to put Venom in here some kind of way.
Mm,
I think they teased him in the end of the last movie, so I feel like he's got to be in this one. And also with all of the Fantastic Four, Secret Wars type stuff that they're going to do, that's when they got the black costume. And the original comic books was in the Secret Wars way back in
sure,
1983.
sure.
So
Yeah, sure.
I don't see that as a far stretch. I'm interested to see where they go with it, but that's all that I can surmise from that. I'm happy they finally got him a big Spider-Man logo instead of that little
I know.
Tony
I'll give you that.
logo.
I will give you that. Yes, I will give you
Yeah,
that for sure.
I like that a little
Um,
bit better.
I don't know. Like, I guess I understand what you're saying. Where you're saying that we're in a day and age where trailers are showing far too much, and I do agree with that. We are in a day and age where a lot of these trailers are basically giving you the whole plot of the movie, and I'm like, why am I going to spend $20 to see this movie when you just gave me the whole beat of the entire movie? There have been a handful of films that have done a better job of that, of what they show and what they don't show, or just kind of giving you a feel of the movie without actually giving you beat by beat the different acts of the movie and the plot of the movie. Um, but I'm sorry, like now it in some cases we're going to the other extreme and it's getting more ridiculous where we're having tr- trailers of trailers or teasers of trailers where I'm like, a teaser of a trailer is enough. A quick 1 minute. Maybe you're doing a quick scene from the movie, or you're showing a moment from a quick moment for the movie, or a full blown trailer. 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes. But if it's just something like and it's not. I'm not saying that the suit isn't. The idea of having a new suit isn't a good idea. It's cool when you're talking about superheroes and them updating their costume, right? But to have that be the promotional material where it's like a quick, like 8 second, like, and thankfully they made up for spills, because we're going to get into that, where they finally did just reveal the entire like costume. But I'm not going to lie, prior to that, getting that on Friday, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. They're getting too ridiculous with this.
Yeah,
So,
it's a little out of control, definitely.
because
It's
I mean, even with some of the other trailers, like we're in this day and age where they will, to promote the trailer, they will show a quick snippet or a quick tease of the trailer before you
and
actually
like
watch
that's
the
the thing that's
trailer.
crazy. Like the
This
tease,
this show this show the
it's a
trailer.
trailer of a trailer because the trailer's
They don't do
already
this
a
in theaters,
tease.
but when you're watching it online, they feel
Yeah,
the need to do that. I'm like, just show the trailer or just show the teaser. Like, that's enough. We don't need a tease of the tease of the tease of the tease. So,
yeah.
but
It
maybe you
reminds me of my
guys.
girlfriend from middle school.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen, that was bad.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
bad. I'm sorry.
Wow. That was a
I'm sorry.
segue.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
But, wow, Spills. But I mean, what do you guys think out there? Maybe you guys feel differently about the nature of how our trailers and how the nature of how our trailers are put together, or teasers are together. You can let us know, down below in the comments. We're going to move away from Trailer Alley. So let me get that down here. And we want to switch gears to sports for our sports cooler talk, because we did have a couple of re-ups, if you will, that did happen this past said week. One of them affects your team, Mr. Spills. So let me pull it up here, and I don't feel like it's much of a surprise, but I feel like it was still worth mentioning. So we'll talk about it now, and that is centered around Luka Doncic and Mikal Bridges. Um, so regarding Mikal Bridges, on Thursday, the New York Knicks forward Mikal Bridges, he agreed to a 4-year, $150 million contract extension with the franchise. His agents, Sam Goldfeder and Jordan Gertler, Excel Sports Management. Excel Sports Management told ESPN Shams Charania. Bridges, who turns 29 this month, struggled early with the Knicks as he was utilized more for his defense rather than his offense, having to adjust from being a first or second option with his prior team, the Brooklyn Nets, to now being the oftentimes the fourth option with the Knicks on many nights. With that said, he still came up big for the team this past postseason, having a pair of double-digit fourth quarters in the Celtics series, which, of course, if you know how that series turned out, they ended up winning. He made key stops on the final plays of games 1 and 2, which allowed the Knicks to stage back-to-back 20-point comeback victories within that series. Not to be outdone, Luka Doncic recently signed a 3-year, 165 million maximum contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers with a player option in 2028. His agent told Shams Charania, in extending Doncic, the Lakers secure a pivotal franchise piece for their team's future. So, Spillman, I'm guessing you want to get into Luka Doncic first, but
No, let's save the best for
you want to save
last,
it?
ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
okay. So let's talk
We're going to
Bridges. Your thoughts?
save the best for last. Obviously, uh, you know, Michael Bridges, he was, essentially replaced Dante DiVincenzo for the Knicks, and they went farther with him. He's a much better player. I think that though he is not the number one option on the team offensively, he's a big reason why they were in the conference finals in a game out of the NBA finals. I think that they really they have a chance now because both of the teams that we view as top of the Eastern Conference, the Celtics and the Pacers, had major injuries happen this postseason, so they will not be back at the same power this following year. And the Bucks got rid of Damian Lillard because he got hurt, so they will be at a diminished status. To me, I think this is the right move. This might be the next year that they win a chip. Because I don't see that Oklahoma City's going to win again. Them boys going to be drinking champagne all year. They're going to have a championship hangover. I don't see them repeating. How do you feel about the Bridges signing?
I mean, it makes sense. It is not like anything where it's like shocking. Okay, of course you're not going to let one of the key players that you had go in your deep postseason run last year leave your team. You want to try to secure him for more time with your team and lock him down. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I didn't realize that in terms of the amount that he agreed to, that he would agree to an amount that low. But in diving into it a little bit more, I understand that he decided to take a bit of a pay cut in order to ensure that the Knicks are able to secure other pieces for their team, which is a very selfless act on his part. But on the same man, let's not cry him a river because he is getting what 150 million over 4 years, which is not nothing. So, but still, it's great to see that they've been able to secure a player like him. He was key with their success against the defending champion Celtics. So like I said, it's a no-brainer. It's not anything that's like shocking or surprising about this. I would just say more so about him taking less money than what he could have earned with this team. But good on him of taking a bit of a cut in order to ensure his team's future success. But your thoughts, or maybe you want to switch gears to your boy
Yeah,
Luka.
let's go ahead and talk about how they low key the Dallas Mavericks did him a disservice. They shipped him out before they was gonna have to pay him, and it probably cost him $100 million. He only signed for 3 years, 155, 165, which is great for us. As the Lakers fan, we need that. I did see that Jokic didn't sign his contract extension, so.
Yeah, but I feel like he did that for a reason though, because from what I understand, by doing the 3 year extension now, that allows him to get a larger extension later. So I'm
Yes,
sure it
for
wasn't
sure. No, I'm not even. See, we
accidental.
see. You see, that's how you can tell that he roots for an inferior franchise, ladies and gentlemen, because he's not thinking about all the moves that we're gonna make with him only making $165 million, which is a crazy thing to say. Only 165, but you look at the Jason Tatum's of the world and those guys, they were making 265 for 4 years. So we saved some money. It's a lesser contract, so we can get, players in on a certain thing, on a thing. And I think that Jokic is going to come to the Lakers. I think that, LeBron and them was meeting with his agent. They were talking about having a basketball um, league that they're starting out there in Europe, but no one really is going to watch that. No one cares. They're not going to have millions and millions of dollars to pay those people unless they get, you know, the Saudis to invest like golf has. But who wants to watch European basketball? I don't.
Wow.
I don't. You don't either. Then you say, wow, like you've ever been like, ooh, let's watch FC Barcelona. You didn't probably know that they had a basketball team. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. So to me, I think it's great for the Lakers, that they could get a max guy for $55 million a year is crazy. Most of those guys that are the MVP candidates are making 60. So we got a discount. I think people like the people like Dame Lillard make $50 million a year. So we got to pay. We got a really we got them on cheap. It's like when you buy a car that's got one accident and it's a slight fender bender. So you're like, all right, the frame is good. So we save some money on this car that would otherwise be much more expensive. I'm interested to see what kind of roster building we do, and also what the GOAT does with his career because he's old and he needs to retire. But I don't see us winning a championship without him. So we'll see what he does. What do you think?
So I'll start first, Spills, by commenting on what you were talking about with the matter with the Dallas Mavericks and the mistake that they made. I know currently right now as it stands, it seems like they made the wrong move. But do you agree with me? Maybe you disagree with me, but do you agree with me that them letting go of Doncic uh, incentivized him to actually prove his naysayers wrong and to actually work on his conditioning and on his fitness. Because I
Oh
feel like
no,
prior to
no,
that,
I
he
don't.
kind of
I don't.
rested on his laurels.
I don't believe that at all. I feel like that was a puff piece because they was gonna give him that money, and they was like, "All right, we're gonna give you this money. We're gonna give you a men's
I don't
fitness cover
know.
too."
I think he was kind of resting on his laurels. He knew that obviously he knew that he was a franchise player. He knew that he was, quote unquote, untradeable with that franchise. And so he didn't really care. Like he was really at a point where it was he he probably in his mind was saying, oh, I've made all these all NBA teams and I'm not even, in the best condition of my life, fitness wise. But and I've been able to kind of get by with that, but I feel like that was the jolt that he needed of getting let go by the Dallas Mavericks to see what we're seeing now with him actually committing to working on his body and actually getting, into the tip top condition that he needs to be in order to be, the great player that he wants to be. Because I mean, we know that he's a great player, but I feel like he could be so much better if he just committed to being in the condition that he needs to be in, because all of that can also bypass a lot of the tic tac injuries that you can often get when you are not in shape. So
Maybe, maybe. I feel like he was all NBA 5 times with that body that they was complaining about. To me, I understand we want him to get, to cut down on injuries and stuff, but
yeah, but would you want him gassed out in the fourth quarter, or do you want him fresh in the fourth quarter because he's in better shape?
I would want him fresh in the fourth quarter, but I don't feel like the fourth quarters were their problem. I felt like the problem with that team that went to the finals 2 years ago was it was him, Kyrie, and a bunch of dudes. Like they didn't have scorers like Gafford. Love that guy. He's very cool. He ain't no scorer. You can't count on him to get 20 if you need him to. The other two forwards that they had, you couldn't count on them. So to me, I feel like this is the thing about the NBA that we like to blame roster construction. And we expect because LeBron James carried a bunch of nobodies to finals many, many years in a row, that we think that anybody could carry a bunch of nobodies to the finals. And that's not true. You might could do it once. You might can get lucky, your seeding be right, and you could do it. You could do an AI or Hakeem Olajuwon, who are all-time greats. But usually, if you don't have good players, you're not going to make it to the finals. So, to me, I feel like that was all game. That was him. Sure, he might look good in that picture for men's health, but magazines do use Photoshop. So I'm not I'm not convinced all the way that that's how. If you saw him today, that's how spelt he would be. He probably was, cutting like our weightlifting bros say he was probably cutting the week before he did that shoot. He was probably not drinking no water. He's probably ready to pass out to take those cool looking pictures. So
Wow.
I just don't
Wow.
believe that. I feel like he played at a weight that made him an all NBA first teamer. I don't understand how you can tell somebody who's an all NBA first teamer that they need to do something different.
But I'm
You know,
saying that's what makes it all the more frustrating, I'm sure, when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, where they were saying to themselves, like, man, like if you can accomplish this when you are not, even in the best shape, imagine what you could do if you were. So
I get how that may be the logic of someone, but like that doesn't seem like sound logic for
because
because
he
like you need your body to be your body to play the sport the way that you play it. Like you can't like you can make yourself into someone new, but
well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would you agree that if you are in better shape, then you can extend your career longer? So
maybe,
versus
maybe I don't know.
having 6 great years versus 10 or 11 great years.
That's very that's in the wishing well because we've seen tons of
Okay.
people who had great bodies still have injuries. Like I don't feel like I feel like having the body that you know, having a body that can take the wear and tear of the NBA is one thing, but also having a body that looks good in pictures and stuff may not be the body that you personally need. I just feel like
Oh, I can
we
care
put,
less about the vanity part of it. I'm just saying,
but
just
that's
the
what I'm
idea
saying.
of
I'm not sure. I don't see dollars to donuts where people who are a little bit heavier do worse in these kind of situations than people who are lighter. Because like you look at Shaq for case in point, like Shaq is the poster boy for this. Because we all said Kobe thought Shaq was fat and he shouldn't be getting in shape during the
but I feel
season.
that's a perfect example. And let me
But they
explain
won a
why.
bunch of chips. They
Let
won a
me
bunch of
explain. No, but
chips.
I'm saying
Okay, go ahead.
that's a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up because yes, he did win championships. But perhaps those championships that they or those finals that they were in that they lost, they may not have lost had he been in better shape. And they may have gone on to even win more championships had he committed to being better in shape. He as much has admitted to that in interviews and conversations that he's had with Kobe and that he's had with other colleagues of his, even on inside the NBA. Yes, I won championships, but I wasn't always committed to being in shape. And he said it himself, man, if I was, had committed to it, we probably would have won more championships with the Lakers. We instead of looking at
That's
three, we
true.
probably would have had 5 or 6.
That's true, but also Kobe wasn't passing the ball in that finals. We all seem to
He
forget
wasn't passing the ball because people weren't committed. If you
that's
know
not it.
Kobe
That's
Bryant,
not it.
no, it is.
Shaq had Ben Wallace. Like this is low key part of the issue too. We all look at Ben Wallace as one of the greatest defenders of all time because of that finals against Shaq. Not really because of the rest of his career. The rest of his career he was good, but never again did he reach that height where he was just shutting down the other big man. So to me, Shaq won a chip after that, and then obviously LeBron had that crazy 25 and 25 points in a half or in a quarter against them. If Ben Wallace was this monster, because it wasn't like LeBron was Steph Curry it up shooting threes, he was dunking on people. So to me, if they would have passed the ball to Shaq, which Kobe did not do, because Kobe also said, I should have gave the ball to Shaq. You was being guarded by a bunch of scrubs. I should have let you dunk on them scrubs. Not to say Ben Wallace is a scrub, but comparatively in Shaq all time, he is a scrub. Um, I just think that it's, I feel like that's fine to say, but people get hurt. I just feel like people get hurt, even if you are Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim's always like get hurt too, because a lot of the NBA players are Mr. Jim guys, and they all get hurt all the time. It's not like these guys be, oh, I'm in the gym and now I can't tear something or hurt myself in some way or get a rotator cuff injury. Y'all say Anthony Davis is a perfect example. He looks like he works out all the time. He's put on all this muscle since he got in the league. He's gotten much stronger. He still is called street clothes.
We have to agree to disagree on that one, but we're going to try to, so that way we can move on to our next story. We'll agree to
Yeah, we're gonna move
disagree.
on. We're sorry,
Move
ladies and gentlemen, but 165 is what's important. We only paying $55 million for MVP candidate, so I'm okay with it.
All right, fair deal, fair deal. So we're going to move on to music, and it's something that we a topic that we don't cover a whole bunch on here, but I felt like this was worth discussing. So this happened as this past said week with Busta Rhymes. Friday saw the rapper receive his star on the Walk of Fame. He was joined by music icons LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, and Chuck D. He was emotional in reflecting on his journey to arriving at this momentous honor. Spillman, your thoughts on Busta Rhymes getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Um, I feel like Busta deserves it. If only for his appearance in that Halloween movie that one time. He was
Oh God,
crazy in that
let's
joint.
not talk about that Halloween movie.
But there wasn't time where Busta Rhymes was my favorite rapper, so I think he more than deserves this. Um, obviously a wordsmith. He's had a 30, 40-year career almost now. It's just good to see that Busta is still doing the thing. To go from the leader of the new school to one of the living legends of hip hop is amazing. But it's just great to see. I don't know anybody like I know people who are like, oh, I'm not a big fan of Busta Rhymes, but no one hates Busta Rhymes. Everyone loves him. He's not even like a caricature like you would imagine someone who raps so animated like he does would be. So I think this is well deserved. How about you?
I mean, I say the same thing. It's crazy to believe, and we talk about this a lot when we're talking about artists, whether they're actors, whether they're musicians, getting their respective stars on the Walk of Fame. There's so many that I feel that they should have gotten it by now, and Busta Rhymes is definitely one of those where I'm like, you haven't gotten yours yet. But I mean, lo and behold, I know recently, my one of my favorite filmmakers, John Carpenter, got his star in the Walk of Fame recently. And I mean, he's been at it forever and he has so many classics, just like, when we're talking about Busta Rhymes with his body of work as a rapper, and what he has accomplished, in his career across, if we're really thinking about it, across, numerous decades, where there aren't many artists that can say, in this decade I had hits, in this decade I had hits, in this decade I had hits. And he's in rare company when we're talking about someone who is able to continue to be, relevant within those decades that he has that he has had his music. Because a lot of times it's not unheard of where we see a lot of folks that have perhaps great first albums. They have their one hit wonders. They have a couple of songs on that initial album, and then that sophomore album kind of falls off, and we don't really hear from them all that much after that, especially when we're talking about rappers where
Oh yeah,
they may have terrific first freshman albums, and then a sophomore album is like, what are you doing here? Like, this is nowhere near at the level of your freshman album, and they struggle to repeat that same success. So kudos to Rhymes, where like that, with his career, that hasn't been the case. He is, as I said, throughout many different decades and eras, has had, you can think of songs that he has had, and hits that he has had, whether it's songs that he's done himself or collaborations with other artists, and still making himself relevant within those said decades by those collaborations as well, and those team ups that he has with other artists on their music. So well deserved. You should have gotten it, I feel like, long before now. Just seems like it's so late in the game where he's just now getting one. Maybe you guys out there feel differently. Maybe you want to break it down for us. If you feel differently, that you may feel like, hey, like he should, it makes sense that he's just now getting it versus not getting it earlier. But yeah, I'm assuming you're in the same camp as me, Spills. But I feel like he should have been gotten it by now. He should have been had a star in the Walk of Fame at this point.
I feel like now is the right time. Maybe within the last 5 years, somewhere in the last 5 years, it's not
Okay.
like crazy late. Like it's not like we see him getting this star and he don't look like Busta Rhymes. He still look like Busta Rhymes. He still sound like Busta Rhymes. He still be doing like things like Busta Rhymes. So I feel like that works. Um, what would you say is your favorite Busta Rhymes thing that you've seen? Like
Oh gosh. Halloween aside, uh, I kid. It's a guilty pleasure, but yeah, no, it's not my favorite work of his. I would say with Janet Jackson.
oh yeah, what's it gonna be?
What's it going to be? What's the other one? Gosh, want to say it's one of his main singles where he has like he looks like a tribesman or something.
Oh,
Um,
it's put your hands where my
Hands on my
eyes can
eyes to
see.
see. Oh,
Yeah,
that's it right there. Or maybe with Chris Brown, Transform You. That one's
yeah,
tight. So I
yeah,
mean, there are a couple of them out there. There are a couple of them that come to mind immediately. But I mean, like I said, so many different and as I'm naming those, like those are
yeah.
throughout different times, different eras. So, but yeah, I definitely feel congratulations to him. But I feel like that he should have received one by now. But I mean, that's fair. What you were saying, maybe within the last 5 years, I would go a little bit further and say within the last 10 years.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but again, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. Maybe you feel like he's just getting it now at the right time for those of you out there watching, or maybe you feel like maybe you really feel like, oh, well, he's still getting it too early. Maybe he needs to, maybe there's some more years that he needs to produce some more music and get his start on the Walk of Fame. I'm curious to know
yeah.
that,
I would be
that
surprised to
trend.
see somebody's like, you need to make more music
I'll
when
be
he's got
really fascinated.
songs.
But
Yeah,
hey, maybe you have a valid reason. Like I said, just let us know in the comments and break it down on your argument. If you can argue your your point, then fair deal to you. But switching gears out of the world of music, we're going to now get into film and TV, and it's actually an extension of one of the stories that we had in our trailers that we're talking about, and this is centered around the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, because we had some information regarding not only the new casting additions that we had with that film, but also a reveal with the costume itself. Beginning Friday, it was confirmed in a story from the Hollywood Reporter that after much speculation, Mark Ruffalo would indeed be joining the film as Bruce Banner, aka Hulk, in the upcoming film. Not only that, the story goes on to reveal that Michael Mando, who appeared as Matt Gargan in the first MCU Spider-Man outing, will return in the sequel as well, likely as the Scorpion. Continuing with the Spider-Man reveals, just yesterday, the film revealed via its social media a look at Tom Holland in his new costume for the sequel. So give me one moment. I'm going to bring that up for us.
special effects wizard Brandon. We love this. We love it. All right,
So
drum
one
roll,
moment.
please, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring this down, and I'll bring up our trailer. Here we go. See if I can play this here.
ready?
So yeah, nothing too crazy, right? But at least we, have a look at Tom Holland as a Spider-Man. Your thoughts, Bills, on the reveal of the casting additions and also the new costume.
I think that we have a live attendee for the show right now, and he disproved what you felt about these 8-second trailers because he just whispered to me. He said, so to me, that works. I feel like it worked. It's what the people want. He's obviously a little bit more mature looking than he has been in previous Spider-Man entities. They gave him 5 extra years of high school, which Disney would like to do with these Marvel characters, and I feel like they're ruining comic books by continuing to retcon things and just start over and over again. But to me, this looks good. Um, can't wait to see what they actually do with it. I like that they have Hulk in the movie. That'll be pretty cool. Hopefully, we'll have a scene where Spider-Man and Hulk get in a fight with each other, and Spider-Man is like, I'm strong, but Hulk is stronger. That'll be pretty interesting. And then, you said his name is Tortino. Is returning as the Hulk. He was what was his name? He was on
Mark
Breaking Bad.
Ruffalo. You're saying Mark
No, not
Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo. The guy that's playing Scorpion.
Oh, Michael Mando.
Mando. Okay, that's his name. But he played on Breaking Bad. He was great in that. He's
Yes,
been great in
yes.
all the shows I see him on. He was good as the Scorpion, even though it was like a teaser thing. I like that they foreshadowed that many years before for him to come back. So we might even get if we're going to get Scorpion, we'll probably get a scene of Michael Keaton in jail because we did see them talking to each other in jail. So you're probably gonna get that, or that guy that was the Tinkerer. They didn't call him the Tinkerer in the show, but that's clearly who he was.
But here's the
So in
thing:
the
did
movie,
they ever fix what they did in in Madam what was it? Not Madam Web in what was it Venom?
hmm
Did they ever fix that of sending him back? I think that they fixed it. I think they, if memory serves, I think they had an end credit where it showed that he went right back, but maybe not. But
what that Venom went back?
no. That Vulture, remember? No, it
Oh,
wasn't. It wasn't Venom. It was Morbius. It was
mm.
Morbius.
You talk about movies that I did not pay money or waste time to see. I
I
didn't see
get
either of
you.
those movies. Like,
I get you, but
congratulations.
I get you, but at the same time, that's what happened. I
I
can't
only go
help
to
that's what
Sony for
happened.
PlayStations. I don't
I
watch them
can't help
Sony
it.
movies.
It is
I
what it
don't watch them
is.
Sony movies. I only go to Sony for PlayStation. I don't
It is what it is, you know.
live action
So,
Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. No, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like that.
but I am interested to see what they do with the Hulk and having him included, in this film. I didn't even get into the other casting folks that casting additions. Apparently, John Berthel is also going to be in this as Punisher. Uh, they did tease talk about, as I talked about just now with the Scorpion, but apparently there are other minor villains that are going to make appearances, and it also will include. It may potentially include Mr. Negative, who, for those of you that are familiar with the Spider-Man games, because he's been a bigger, I feel like a really big part of the games recently, is as is stated, currently speculated to be appearing as the main villain. So we shall see. A
That
lot
would be
of,
cool. He was good on that Spider-Man video game we all played 5 years ago.
for sure, for sure, for sure. And do we have a cameo here? Do we
No,
have a
we don't
cameo?
have no cameo. He can't be on the screen. I told him to be in the other room, but he wants to be in here just trying to just hang out, ladies and gentlemen. He said, I
All
want to talk
good.
about
All
Spider-Man.
good. It's a live show. All good. But what do you guys feel like out there? Do you feel like with the Spider-Man film that is, too loaded with different characters, that it has too many people? You can let us know in the comments and give your reasons why, that maybe they may figure out a way to balance out everything, or if you feel like there are too many pieces or too many folks that are in this soup that is Spider-Man Brand New Day. But we're going to move on to some local news, as we do have some news surrounding a local amusement park here in the DC metropolitan area, which me and Spills are well versed in, and that is with Six Flags America. So let me bring that up for us now.
You got to go sit down.
Um, give us a second. And there we go. All right. So yeah, with Six Flags America, um, this was some news that was dropped over the past week, and this was in a story from Fox 5 on Wednesday. It was stated that officials told the local news station that employees were notified over the weekend, with pass holders informed on Tuesday that Fright Fest, an event known for its haunted attractions and costume performers, running typically in the fall during the not the Hollywood, excuse me, folks, the Halloween season, will not happen at the Six Flags America location. This cancellation can be attributed to the amusement park's preparation to officially close on November 2nd. With that said, according to the story, all pass holders will receive a free ticket to Fright Fest at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, which is the closest Six Flags location to the soon-to-be closed Bowie, Maryland location. So, Spillman, your thoughts on Fright Fest being canceled at Six Flags America?
Ladies and gentlemen, I figured that they wasn't going to do Fright Fest because when they made the announcement that they was closing, they said that they was going to close at the end of the summer. They said, we don't care about no Fright Fest. Or they might have said Fright Fest, but I didn't believe that they was going to close and then reopen because they close um, in that month between the beginning of school and the beginning of the Halloween season. Traditionally, maybe they open up for weekends. I don't remember exactly how that goes, but this is what was going to happen. Dan Snyder, he's a shiesty dude, and this is my chance again to talk about him bad on this show because boo to you, Dan Snyder. Why you want to
Wow.
leave? Because they got the stadium done. Because they did just get the stadium done. They made it 9-3. They are going to move back to the RFK site, and I know that that's what he was trying to get for 20 years. But you can't be a terrible person and expect nice things to happen to you all the time. Sometimes people don't like you, but this is the casualty of it. We're sad to see Six Flags go. Hopefully, they don't turn it into a casino. They put another amusement park here, but we'll see. What do you think that they'll do with the Six Flags America property?
What they always do when we have things closed down, that they'll make it into residential properties. So that way, I mean, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I'll just keep it simple. Just say that they probably will turn into something residential, whether they're apartment complexes or condos. Considering where it's located, they may even do a split of having a residential area and some property for businesses as well. So that way, they're able to get value out of that said property once the amusement park is gone. But I will say this, and we talked about it on the show. We actually did have a prior episode of This Week in Pop Culture in which we talked about the closing of Six Flags America, which is here in the DC metropolitan area in Bowie, Maryland, more specifically. And so many, memories with family as well as friends with that amusement park. So it's a bummer to see it go. Um, Even have memories with Fright Fest as well. I haven't gone every single time I've gone to Six Flags, but I maybe a handful of times, and those are equally fun. Being able to attend a lot of those events that they have, a lot of nice memories, fun memories, again with family and friends, of a lot of the haunted attractions that they have and how they're able to kind of creatively provide horror or Halloween oriented slants to a lot of the rods that you're already familiar with, or even adding, pop-ups here and there of things that they have specifically for Halloween, which is cool. So it's a bummer, but it makes sense. I mean, with the amusement park closing so close to Halloween, I mean, it's supposed to officially be closing on November 2nd. That's a lot to ask for them to prep for Fright Fest and prepare for Fright Fest, and then on top of that, a couple of days later, prepare to completely close the amusement park. So it makes sense, but it is still a bummer. I'm not gonna lie. So. For did you were there any occasions that you had attended Fright Fest that you remember that come to mind, or did
I
you
don't
not
think I've
go to
ever.
Fright Fest?
I don't think I've ever been to Fright Fest. I may have gone once.
Okay,
It's not a memorable thing for me.
okay.
I do remember when it first opened going there, and my uncle getting stuck in the Two Face,
Oh no,
and
what?
he really spazzed out. My uncle really spazzed out, and he was trying to get out of the
The
harness, and we all had to
hard,
tell him, "You're 30 feet off the ground, buddy. You need to stop. You need to
right?
stay still and not panic." He totally panicked. It was so funny because you don't see your
Did he finish
uncles
the
and
ride?
no, they pulled the
They
thing
brought
back
it
out.
back.
Everybody got
Oh
off. Like it was like
wow,
the first or second day of like Six Flags being Six Flags. Like before it was like Wild World and all those other Adventure
right.
World
Adventure
before
World,
that.
yeah. Wild World, then
Yeah,
Adventure World, yeah. Then Six Flags,
yeah,
but yeah,
Adventure World and Six Flags. So I think that they'll find something for it, but yeah, you know, boo Dan Snyder, boo that man. I wish he could come on the show so I could boo him some more. I know he won't, and I would actually want him on my show, but no, that dude is not a good dude. He treated the Commanders fan base very poorly for many years. So I'm just not here for it.
I hear you. But owners aside, as I said, bummer to have the amusement park have it closing its doors. It's going to be weird to drive past that area and not see a Six Flags sign. So
Yeah.
that will be a weird thing to have happen. But it is what it is, and looks like Sylvia agrees with you, Spills. So yes, yes,
Most
uh,
people with brains agree with me to boo that man. That's just not a
for
nice
sure.
guy. He's
Yeah,
just not
I get
like
you.
the stuff that we talk about, like you wouldn't expect it like the list of things that he did while he was the owner of that franchise. It's amazing they didn't take it sooner.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing they didn't take it sooner. So it
yeah.
couldn't happen to a better person.
Well, we are going to switch gears into our main topic. I know we teased it at the top of talking about a another said horror franchise that is getting apparently getting a television series, and that's none other. And I'm gonna bring it up because we have it here in the background. Is none other than the Hostel franchise. And for all of my horror buffs out there, yes, you heard that right. Just like we now live in a world where we will soon have an Alien series, we will also have a Hostile one as well, an exclusive from Variety. It has been revealed that the horror franchise has a TV iteration currently in development at the NBC Universal streamer Peacock. According to the article, Paul Giamatti is attached to star in the series, with Hostel mastermind Eli Roth set to write, direct, and executive produce. Chris Briggs and Mike Fleece, who have produced all the Hostel films, are also executive producers. Fifth season is the studio, and currently, as it stands, the exact plot details are being kept under wraps. So, Spillman, your thoughts on us getting a Hostel series?
I'm interested in it only because Paul Giamatti is in that. I feel like he could read the phone book and it'd be interesting.
I'll give you
Um,
that.
I
Yes.
I really like him as an actor. He can play both villains and heroes, or
Yes.
everyman, or narrator. So
Yeah.
I feel like he might be the guy that's running the hostel and doing all the devious things, or maybe he can be a journalist or something that's trying to investigate how come all these teenagers keep dying in this hospital and no one's doing anything about it. And like an investigative journalist per se, that could be interesting in an interesting way. But I'm interested in this strictly for Paul Giamatti. Like I said, the man can act.
Yes,
So
yeah, you can.
that's big for me. How do you feel about this show? I know you're big on the horror stuff. So
I
how do you
am
feel
I
about
am
this
big
Hostel
on
franchise?
Yeah, I am big on the horror stuff. People know that I'm a horror buff, and of course, I have we have the Dexter series that we're doing currently that we're in the middle of, and we will soon be doing episode breakdown for Alien Earth. So I'm very much looking forward to that, especially after seeing the being treated to the premiere. They actually showed the premiere at Comic-Con in the panel, the first episode, and man, let me tell you, it's something else. But with that in mind. I'll start first with Paul Giamatti. I'm a big fan, as you said, a terrific actor. I'm a big fan of his work. Pretty much anything that he pops up in, I end up checking out because he always brings in an incredible performance. I used to watch, which he was a regular on, the show Billions. Incredible show. It's no longer on now. It's since concluded, ended its run. But man, he was incredible along with brain farting his co-star's name currently because he was also in Homeland. I want to say Damian Lewis was his co-star in Billions, but I digress. Um,
You
incredible,
talking about the redhead guy? The guy that was
yes,
David
yeah,
Act
Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis,
yeah,
that's his name.
yeah.
But yeah, incredible actor. Awesome that he's going to be a part of this series. I love that they're having a lot of the folks that were involved with the film franchise getting involved with the development of the TV show because you still want to have the feel of the film. You don't want it to feel too far off from what you expect from what you saw in the film franchise. Um, and in speaking to the theory that you had, Smillman, about perhaps what character he's playing, I
Hmm.
haven't seen the third Hostel. I've only seen the first two, but knowing the range that Paul Giamatti has in terms of, as you said, being able to be a good guy as well as a bad guy. And I'm assuming you've only maybe seen the first one, or have you seen the first two
I think I've
Hostel?
seen the first one. I think I've seen the first one.
Okay. So you probably won't remember this. I'll try to keep it brief, and I guess this is a mild spoiler. Maybe is in the second film you have a character who starts off as a seemingly innocent person or someone who's kind of like wet behind the ears in terms of the type of person that they are, and as they get more exposed to the world of what's going on at the hostel, they descend, like psychologically they descend, and you see what's truly underneath the surface of who those people are. I feel like that could be an arc that they could go with Paul Giamatti, because it would be something as an actor that he might gravitate towards, of having that journey of someone who on one end seems pretty like a relatively normal person, but as the more he's exposed to the world of what's happening at the hostel, he becomes more corrupted. That could be an interesting arc, or as you said, it could be a situation where he's acting as the eyes of the audience, where um, the characters surrounding him are really malicious and horrible, versus him being that person who takes on that persona. So we'll see. But the fact that they have a lot of the team from the original film is encouraging, and the fact that they have someone with at the caliber of Paul Giamatti attached to it is terrific, because he doesn't strike me as the type of person that's going to take any type of role. So there must be something there with what he was pitched in terms of being a part of this project that is pretty good. So that gets me excited on what we get from that collaboration of the world of Hostel with the actor Paul Giamatti. But any additional thoughts? You're muted, I think.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just excited to hear his soliloquies because we all know Paul Giamatti be talking, ladies and gentlemen. That
Yep,
boy can
I'll give you
talk.
that. Yes, yeah,
That boy can talk. So I'm
yeah.
excited to see what he
He gives
does.
great speeches. Yeah, for sure.
Great speeches, especially on that show Billions.
Yeah,
The way he be talking to his wife or to David Axelrod before they get him, or to anybody other people on the show, tears into him. So I'm just excited to see that because with in horror, having good speeches and stuff is a good thing because I feel like that's what separates movies like uh Silence of the Lamb from your average just slasher flick. It's because Anthony Hopkins was on that joint talking, dog. So I'm just interested to see what he does with it. So
for sure,
that's good.
for sure.
Yeah.
But that is going to do it, guys, for what we have here. Before I let you guys go, what do you guys think about this new Hostel series? Let us know in the comments. Are you excited about us getting a TV show of yet another horror franchise, or are you a little skeptical? You can let us know down below. But Spills, I'm going to punt it over to you. Can you tell folks where they can find you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at Truly Spill on Instagram. I am there. I tell you about this show and other goings ons in my life. So we can chat it up. I'm free there. I will talk about how much better the Lakers are than the Warriors, but that's for Brandon to talk about when he's talking about his part. Back to you, Brandon.
For sure, and I'm always game, folks, to talk about the perceived goat, that being Mr. LeBron James, who is a terrific player, an iconic player, but will always be number two. But you can find me at Brandon Choi ENT on X and Brandon Choi _ ENT on IG. I can't believe I did not get any comments there. It was silence. I cannot believe it.
I was
But
letting you finish your part, ladies and gentlemen. I was just gonna say, you know, LeBron never quit. We ain't never seen LeBron quit. So, he ain't quit. You can't be the GOAT if you quit. That's not what happens. Goats don't quit.
for sure, for sure. And thank you so much, Sylvia. I'm glad you were able to, get some tidbits about the goings on that is going across pop culture. If that's how you feel, we are doing our job. But thank you so much for tuning in to us live. That'll do it for another edition of This Week in Pop Culture. We will see you next time.